Welcome to the Social Living Podcast. We are back for another one, episode 34. Jam, how you doing?
I'm alright, man. I'm good. I'm good. It's been a lot of adaptation recently in both of our lives. I guess that's why we've had a bit of a
Yeah,
delay with restarting this. Yeah, coping, man. Doing all right. Doing all right.
that's good, man. That's what I like to hear. So I
Yeah.
like
How's
to
things with
hear.
you?
Yeah, not too bad. Again, coping, adapting, all those things, man. It's hard, you just juggle in life. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
You're just doing the best that you can. So you're always just juggling, and then yeah. We're here, man. We just got to try and keep consistent as much as possible, because that's what's gonna help us grow is that consistency. So we just got to keep pushing and see where this takes us, man. See where this
Sure.
takes us.
For
I'm
sure.
looking forward to this episode. I'm looking forward to this one. This one's just dedicated. If you haven't seen the title already, it's right here on the little ticker. Um, it's called Mr. Morale and the big marketing strategy. So if you don't already get it, this episode is dedicated to Kendrick Lamar. It only feels right. Um, we dedicated an album, like a episode to Drake when he did Certified Lover Boy, and it felt right to do this for Kendrick Lamar as well because their approaches are very, very different, but both have such a worldwide effect. So yeah, man, I wanna kick it off there, man. Um, yeah, like I wanna start off with the heart part five, and then we'll go in and touch in on the marketing around that. You
Mm.
happy with that?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Let's go. Let's kick it off.
yeah.
Let's
All
kick
right.
it off.
So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna show you the artwork for the heart part five. That's the first thing we're gonna do. Is the artwork alone, the art cover again. It's a whole marketing strategy behind that. I
Mm.
think as well alone. Have you seen the cover?
Yeah, yeah. I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. So let me just quickly share this screen of mine. Bear with me again. If you're listening to this on Spotify, just head over to YouTube, and you'll find this find the visuals for this, uh, and you'll be able to see exactly what we're talking about. So here we have the heart part five cover. I'm sure you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
So
All
I just
good.
typed it in. So here, on the right here, you can see that's basically the cover of it, or you can, look at the top left. So just to kind of give you guys a visual perspective without playing the video, because I don't want this to get taken down. Uh, Kendrick Lamar starts rapping. Here on the top right, you can see that's basically what the video looked like. It's just him by himself, and they use like a deep fake technology, which was done by some of the creators of South Park, where they're able to kind of morph Kendrick Lamar's face into different people, and those different people are all within the artwork, right? So the song's called "The Heart Part 5." They're all showing their palm of their hand and showing five fingers to symbolize the heart part five. And each individual who is in the video, here you can see on the bottom left who they are. So that's Nipsey Hussle, OJ Simpson, obviously Kendrick Lamar, Kobe Bryant, Will Smith, and what's his name? Jussie something, the guy who lied. I always forget his name. Um, but
Yeah.
that's
The guy
like
from
basically,
Empire. Yeah. I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember.
yeah. The guy from Empire. So that's like six people there, and all their hands are there basically in the image. Black background, and you know what it is straight away. I think that's not even on the album.
Mm.
And Kendrick Lamar's marketing strategy for most of his albums has been that he drops the heart, a version of the heart, and then shortly after, that's when he releases his album. So that's kind of been something that fans will look forward to and anticipate and know, okay, yeah, album's about to drop, like within a couple of weeks, and obviously he dropped this, I think 2 weeks ago now. So within a week this album is dropping, and I think that alone is a promotion in itself. That didn't need billboards, that didn't need any like budget behind it in terms of like digital marketing. That didn't need any like, keep a close eye. If you're a Kendrick fan, you're part of the community, you start talking about it, and once you start talking about it, the word of mouth just spreads. So everyone's listening and they're just going off on that.
It's like this. It's the greatest form of marketing. If you're able to kind of sell a product or sell a song or album in this case without pushing it, you're onto something good, and your marketing efforts don't need to be as strong as someone else, as a different artist that doesn't have the I guess cult following Kendrick does, which is kind of a credit to him and that community he's built, because we then do the marketing for him as fans, as bloggers, as YouTube creators. We then, the reaction videos then follow, and everyone then becomes aware that Kendrick's back, and we anticipate the album, which is it's always good to see, man. The reaction alone. Where was you when you first heard the song? And was you expecting
man, so my brother's probably Kendrick Lamar's like biggest fan. So for some reason he was up at like 5 a.m, sent me the video. Because I think it dropped at like midnight in the US, 5 a.m. over here, whatever. And he sends me the video. I see it at like 5:45. And I'm like, all right, let me check. I got to wake up in like half an hour. So I was like, okay, let me watch this. And that's when that was my first reaction to it. And I was like, I couldn't take everything in. Like, you're mad tired. I couldn't take everything in. I wasn't even sure his faces were changed. I was like, I swear his face looks a little bit different. I wasn't even sure. Then I watched it a second time, like an hour later, and as soon as I saw Nipsey Hussle's face, that just gave me like goosebumps. I don't know if it's because I'm like a Nipsey Hussle fan. I don't know if anybody else felt like this, but what he was saying at the time just felt like it just connected. When it was Kobe, when it was Nipsey, it just felt like, wow, what he was saying connected to both of those people. And then he touches on like Nipsey's situation as if like Nipsey was talking from like an afterlife type thing, which is something again that you don't get from most people's albums or even music. So on a spiritual level, it's already extremely different. Do you know what I mean? And I think that in itself, because it makes you think, and it's still a good song, it's still like it's a hip hop at its finest, you're gonna spread the word. You're like, yo, did you see this? And then also he's birthed the technology of the deepfake technology by putting this on a wider scale. Most people haven't seen something like this before. Do you know what I mean? They're like, what? And then all the mannerisms and everything, and the controversy with each character as well. And obviously the way Nipsey Hussle died, OJ Simpson and his trials, obviously Will Smith, and I think it was just a great segue into like the launch of his album, and it just shows like where his headspace is. This is not just like a single, just to make everyone dance and bubble or whatever. This is, you got to open your mind to listen to Kendrick, man.
And what I liked about it is like being like marketing side now and brand side, you kind of, when I watch something like this, I think about the setup and what I'm actually seeing visually, and seeing Nipsey in this form. Seeing Kendrick in this form feels new to me. I've not seen him look like this for a while, just because of how, I guess, silent he's been recently. So seeing him in quite a raw, organic form, with quite a dull, diluted backdrop, with a plain white tee, automatically I'm thinking, yeah, there's substance here.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't need anything else. That alone, along with the deep fake, is what makes this work. Almost the simplicity of it helps carry that message.
It's true, and it's like it's art at its finest, and like some people don't understand that art because he doesn't want you to be distracted by anything. There's nothing like there's a strong contrast between himself and the backdrop, right? So you have to look at him, and you're not worried about his clothes, what t-shirt he's got. You might be wondering why the bandana, but if that might be something to do with the deep fake technology or something like that, but we don't know. But it looks like that's just how he would dress. And then also on top of that, I think that him being away for so long, I feel like that's also part of his marketing strategy, because now it's like, what does he look like? Oh, he's got afro. Okay, what does this mean? How many times have you seen Kendrick with his hair out? Like, what does this mean? Like, is this like him being vulnerable? His mannerisms here, he's like this, like in the top right here, you see he's like what does
himself,
that?
like consoling
Yeah,
himself.
yeah. So it's like, what does that mean in terms of like body language? And it's like I feel like there's some artists you have to look deep into those things to understand the message that they're trying to portray. And then there's other artists who it doesn't even have that layer, I don't like comparing Drake and Kendrick Lamar, but I feel like they're so different. Definitely Drake does have certain like symbols and things in there, but on this level, it's so different. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, as a consumer of both of their music, I want different things from both the artists. I don't expect this from Drake, but from Kendrick, yeah, wow. And I feel like what I like from a marketing's perspective, I think what I like about it most is the minimalism behind it. Like, you don't actually need much. And this is consistent throughout his whole marketing. And it's just like you said, it's like that truest form of marketing. And he's done it on such a minimalistic way. Do you know what I mean? There's no words, it's just hands. Do you know what I mean? You got to use your brain and think about like, okay, what does all this mean?
That's his brand, right? Like everything he is a conscious rapper, so everything he does, his approach to each part of his artistry is about making you think and diving deep into your own thought process and how you take his music, and you see it already, let alone diving into the actual album, but from the album cover, the thumbnail, and then from part 5, like you know what you're gonna expect. He's giving you a taster of what the album will be before it drops. And again, that marketing alone kind of builds up that anticipation for the album.
100%. And I think I like the way he's done that, and he keeps that consistent even throughout, like, let's say Instagram, for example. So on Instagram, most artists would be like May 19th or whatever, like dropping the album. They're like trying to push it hard. But with Kendrick Lamar, he didn't even do that. So if I just load this up real quickly, I just want to load like what he did post on Instagram, just to kind of give you guys a little visual. I'm loving this little visual thing. It's kind of cool. So yeah, you can see my screen. So I lost it. There you go. So he posted this. I am all of us, Oklahoma, which is kind of like one of his aliases. So that's him. And that's him announcing the Heart Part 5. And then already you're like, huh? And then he drops it, and then there's a different artwork. You're like, huh? What does this mean? And most people, when you see a lot of the reactions, most people are talking about it. And he literally, everything he's done is a trigger, and it gets people talking. So like most people are reading this and they're like, I am all of us. That's literally what they say. They're saying it wrong because like there's a full stop at I am all of us. But people are like, oh, I am all of us. Oh, he's saying that he's us. And then it's like, well, no, he said I am. And he's like, all of us. And it's like, okay, now you got to deep this differently. Like, okay, what did he say? What does he mean?
Again, it's part of that branding, that conscious rap. He gives us the fuel, I guess, or the food, and we decide how it tastes. Like we get our own interpretation from what he feeds us. Like it's just all part of it. It becomes less of just listening to music and more of a journey through his artistry.
Yeah. And it like on for you, like, would you say you get this from anybody else?
Not at the moment, Nah. Apart, I'd say him and J. Cole maybe. And then if I'm thinking of English rappers, British rappers, Wretch, Getch, Kano, like those type of rappers, but not at the level, not the same level Kendrick kind of gives us.
So you think I only have one person in mind, like, so the only person that takes me through this similar type of journey is Jay-Z. Like there's like nobody else. So I feel like there's people who got the rapping on lock, but when it comes to the art as well as the rapping, and then mixing the art and the rapping together as one to leave you a message, to me it's like Kendrick Lamar and Jay-Z at the moment. I don't see anyone else able to do it this way. You could spend hours and hours just decoding Jay-Z's last album, and he dropped it like, I don't know, 7 years ago. Do you know what I mean? And it's like a story of OJ. You're like, okay, you're like, whoa, what does this mean? Like, but he's dropping a lot of gems, and I think Kendrick Lamar does the same. So yeah, man. So that's I guess that's the start of his marketing. Prior to this, he did post other things. So let's just show you his feed. So again, minimal marketing. He's got 5 posts here. 5 posts. He's got one here, which is a folder called New Thoughts, 38 weeks ago. This is another part of his marketing. This is like, is this the album? Is this, what's this? Like, he spelled new, N-U. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Again, you're thinking, you just don't know. He put oaklama.com, people are typing that in, don't know where it takes them, but it's that, and it's so simple. It's just it's got 2.1 million likes. That's crazy. And then here is another, which is more like a what's that? What do you call this? Like a letter-headed letter. I don't even know what the word is, but yeah, his company PG Lang, the Language Enterprises. I think it stands for Lost Language. I think it is Lost in Language or something like that.
Okay.
And this is when he announces basically the release date for his album. That's it. Album, Mr. Morale, release date 13th of May 2022. All factual information for this release will come directly from this source. So he's like, look, marketing anywhere else is not us. This is where it's coming from. That's it. Pay attention, stay here. And then you got the I Am All of Us. And then we can move on to this. This is the cover of the album. What did you think of this?
Again, it takes elements of the part 5, and it almost puts it into the cover. It kind of shows you where he is at the moment, the rawness of his life, the fact that the walls aren't perfect, the color. I'm diving into it at the moment, like the color of the walls. This is all part of it. The bed sheets, him as a father, like it's all part of where he is now, and he's kind of telling us a story about his life through this artwork alone. And then you look at the, what do you call it on his head? The
crown.
Crown? What do you call it? A crown?
Some people say a crown. Some people say a halo.
Again, it's like our interpretation of what that might be. But yeah, this is just the strength. It shows for me, Black strength, Black family, the power of family, the importance of family to him. The fact that this is his like album cover shows where he's been over the last how many years in in his silence. But now just power in it, man.
Yeah, no, it's true. Because sometimes, like, obviously, he's been away for a long time, and I guess there's been COVID in the middle of that. And sometimes I guess we immortalize artists because it's like they don't go through COVID, and they do. Do you know what I mean? Like they're gonna have family members who are affected and all this different type of stuff. And like I think that might have played a factor as why it might have taken him so long. I know he's come out and said that what takes him long when it comes to making an album is that he needs to be fully connected into that kind of spiritual form of like creating something. And I can agree. I don't want to say I can relate to that because I think there's times when you're in your zone and that's when you're making good stuff. And you know when you're in your have you ever seen a movie called Soul?
I've not. Oh yeah, I have, from Disney movie.
The Disney one, and he talks about being in that zone when there's people that they're playing basketball, they're playing tennis or whatever, and they're in their zone. I can't remember the word that they call it,
No,
but it's
I
like
remember.
there's that in it, and I think that sometimes that place is hard to get to. Do you know what I mean? And everyone has it, and it could be, I feel like I get it when I play football. I love it. Like when I play football, I'm in my zone, and I can just do things right. And then when I'm and then now I'm in this new space where I feel like I'm unlocking the kid inside of me. There's this new place of where you're trying to create, but you still got responsibilities. And I feel like that's what this kind of like shows. Do you know what I mean? So he's wearing the crown, so he's probably the head of his family, right? But he's also like the king to a lot of people as well, in terms of everybody's got that expectation for him to drop and him to drop something amazing when it comes to an album. But at the same time, he's still got to look after his family. He's still got to be with his kids. So it's like there's a battle between being for yourself, being for your family, and being for everybody else. And like that weighs a lot. Like we see a lot of artists talk about this a lot. And then when they get put into that kind of category, I guess sometimes the public don't allow for mistakes and things like that. So you'll put people up onto a pedestal until they do something like what Will Smith did, or just anything like that. Like it could just knock them straight off the pedestal. So it's like it's the crown is as heavy as the head, or is that what they're saying? Something like that. But yeah, here what the symbolization I see is that, but then also is like he's wearing a crown, but it could also be considered a halo, but he's also got a gun in his back pocket. What does that mean? Do you know what I mean? He's got his woman there. She's like looks like she's holding the baby or she's about to breastfeed. And it's like, okay, what does that mean? Do you know what I mean?
Life,
you feel like everything's
in its
intentional.
rawest form. Which
No,
might be where the life he's been living recently, because he's obviously mentioned about having writer's block and I guess finding himself spiritually, which kind of comes from simplifying your life. So this might have been, I guess, a nod to that almost.
Yeah. No, completely. I think what we get is I feel like he's trying to show two sides. It's like the artist, and he's trying to show his himself, like at his purest form as well.
Even the fact that he's got his back to like the camera almost, and he's facing his family. Like, what does that mean?
That's like protecting, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's protecting his family right now. Do you know what I mean? He's got full range, and if anyone needs him, like his back to them. But it's also letting them know, look, my back's to you, but I got a gun. Do you know what I mean? And it's like it's not promoting gun violence. It's not that. Do you know what I mean? It's such a this thing can just be decoded so many different ways. Only he can tell us. But the great thing about art is that it is solely down to perception, and life is perspective, and this is what he wants you to do in it. So he's like, have a look at this. What do you think this is? Do you know what I mean? Because some people might see, oh, he's got a gun, that's terrible. But we might look at him like, yo, we think he's using that for protection. We don't think, he shouldn't have that or anything like that, because right now he's just trying to protect his family, which is his stance gives that off. Do you know what I mean? And that's it. So yeah, man, that's Kendrick Lamar. Again, we've only touched on just like the visuals here so far. We haven't dropped like his first single. Have you seen his first single that he released?
I've still not seen it. I've listened to it. I've listened to his album, but I've not seen the video to it yet.
So N25. So this is the fifth image. So it's a video. Play it quickly. Again, there's so much symbolism in it. So yeah, that's obviously Kendrick Lamar. He's in the stance of the crucifix,
almost levitating
above the water. The water doesn't touch him. He's kind of like in all white. His hair's long down. Like, what do you see?
Even the fact that it's black and white and the symbolism of that, stripping the color of the shot, leaving it in its simplest form, kind of ties into the album artwork. The fact that it's like waves, there's no distraction, it's just him and the water, almost him and like the natural forms of life. It all ties into the rawity of the album and of like the artwork that we've seen and the Part 5 song. You can see how it's all connected almost.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, like, his marketing approach is all these different things that it still triggers you. They say that's what marketing should do, right? It should trigger emotion, where it should make you feel happy, it should make you feel sad, or make you want to buy. It wants you to do some kind of action. And this already makes you like, if you were religious, you might be like, yo, that's blasphemy. Nobody should ever try and symbolize that they're Jesus. Do you know what I mean? And that's almost kind of what that looks like. It's almost as if like he's the savior. Obviously, that's how Jesus died. He died on the cross. So it's like, is that what he's saying? He's your savior? You know what I mean? But again, this is just a teaser to his video, and then
even his stance, almost like his legs are crossed, and he's not fully like straightened. It's almost as if he's chilling.
So wait, say that last bit again.
It's almost as if his legs are crossed, and his arms, how his arms are positioned, are quite relaxed. Like it's almost as if he's like just chilling, like he's in like a relaxed state almost.
I don't know, I think that the internet connection is cutting out. Wait, can you hear me?
Video, maybe? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll probably actually let me just quickly pause the video. Technical difficulties. We'll edit this out. All right, cool. Yeah. So his arms. You reckon that his arms are like relaxed? You feel like he's like what? What do you
slightly relaxed? See? I don't know. Like I see, like then he's not a full. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what the word is. But his arms are slightly relaxed and not tense, as if he was.
They're not fully stretched out.
Yeah, fully stretched out. And then his legs are crossed too. Like what? There's so much to take from it, and it's just my mind like just unpicking it like as we speak. But there's definitely something in that. The fact that he's not. As if he's not giving up. I don't know. You could take this in so many different ways.
No, it's interesting. You know what I mean? And we just gotta leave it to people to kind of understand, and like we just try and give our opinion and how we interpret. And then the best thing about this type of art is that your opinion is gonna change over time. And then you might listen to the album again and you might, wow, I just got what this meant. Like even like N95, I was like, what does this mean? I had to look it up. It means mask.
Mask.
Yeah, so
Okay.
N95 it's a mask that you wear. Is 95% like efficiency to like, so it's a mask. So it's a symbolization of like COVID-19, us wearing masks um over the last couple of years. And then in the song he touches on it in terms of like us having our freedom taken away, but then us kind of going back to normal and it's fine, and we still kind of like trust the situation. Do you know what I mean? Because it is kind of crazy. Like COVID, not even 6 months ago, was the biggest thing on earth, and now in the UK anyway, does anyone even care about lateral flow tests? People,
Unless they're
people
going on
are
holiday.
exactly, unless they're going on holiday and a foreign country needs to know. But even that, they're not even. I feel like they're not even that strict when you get to the borders and stuff like this. Like, it's, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, N95 is the name of the song. I think the song is sick. I think that the video itself as well. I'm not gonna show the video, but I think the video itself is sick because it's like it shows so many contrasts, and then even this as well. Like we say in black and white, it's like he's literally showing like both sides of the black and the white. Like there's times when he's like like there's pure manic that's about to happen next to him, but because it's not next to him, like something's about, like, I think a car like is close by him, but he's a bit far away from it. So because he knows that he's got distance between himself and the car, he's unfazed. So it's
removed
like,
from the situation.
exactly. So then it's like that can be seen as like a symbolization of like, let's say you're rich in COVID. Because you're rich in COVID, you don't have to deal with like, there's not enough toilet rolls, there's not enough this, there's not enough that. You got stuff, you got it stocked, you can travel, you don't feel the restriction because you have the money. So you're unfazed by what's been happening. But then the people, almost to say like at the bottom of the barrel, they're scrambling, and they've been hit the worst, but not you, because you're slightly removed from it, you know. And then there's that, and then there's him like being seen as like a savior, which I know he's got a song called Savior where he basically says that I'm not your savior, so you shouldn't be idolizing me in that way because I still make my mistakes. And he releases so much vulnerability in the song. It's similar like to Jay-Z in a sense where Jay-Z talks about cheating on Beyonce, and he reveals that as an artist. And Kendrick does the same in this album, and I think that's where the best art kind of comes through,
For sure, man. For sure. You've tied that up nicely. That was a nice explanation.
Yeah, no, I try, man. I try, but yeah, like that's Kendrick Lamar in a nutshell so far. If you haven't checked out his album already, I think definitely go check that out. You'll be surprised you'll be surprised like what you're gonna get, if you know what I mean, because it's like, again, it's like an onion. There's just so many layers to Kendrick Lamar. There's so many different meanings to everything he does, and what I like about it is that everything is intentional. And I think there's not many artists that are like that, where every stroke has its intention. And that's why there's only a few artists that are considered like the best, because every word or every imagery that he shows you, there's an intention for everything that's there. There's an intention why in one of his posts it says new thoughts, and the new is spelled NU and not NEW. Like what like, do you know what I mean? There's a reason behind all those things, and he knows the reason. And it's up to us to kind of decode it, and then that's what makes this type of art last the test of time,
It's almost, in a way, what you do want to hear from Kendrick to get his thoughts behind the album, but then it almost kills the meaning almost, because it's up for our interpretation, but then our interpretation takes us so far. We then want to know like what was his like thoughts behind it, why he done this, why did he do that? But it's part of artistry, and you kind of gotta accept that almost. But yeah, it's such a period of time that we can sit back and enjoy this type of artistry, because there's not many rappers like that out there.
Yeah, 100%. And I think as well, like, just to kind of bring it back to marketing as well, like, I think the whole point of this is just to show how much thought you can put into your marketing, and you can make it have like a really strong effect if you really understand like your audience and understand how to tap in to like these emotional triggers, like these triggers to get people wanting what it is that you have, making them listen, making them, you know, like, how many times is this album gonna get played? Like, when I saw like that song, The Heart Part 5, that got so many views in minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's on 28 million views already, and people have dropped albums and they're not even reaching that on the whole album, you know. So we have to pay attention to that, and it's really important. Again, it's not for everybody. Some people need to push and, you know, market in a different way, but I feel like if you're able to control your narrative and you know exactly what you're trying to say, and you know you're an artist in its purest form, this might be the approach that you might want to take. You know, and take your time with it. It might still not be perfect, but like, if we look at Kendrick's like last couple albums, like he's improved that kind of like messaging, that symbolism, that all these different things. And yeah, you get Kendrick at his purest form. So I think, yeah, that's the main thing, man. That's the main thing. So yeah, I don't know, is there anything else you wanted to add about, you know, from a marketing standpoint?
I just want to touch on like community.
Yeah.
I think that's often forgotten when we think of marketing. And when it comes to artists, we kind of they build up a fan base, but each fan base is different. You got the likes of Chris Brown and the pop stars that kind of walk among us, like Drake as well, to an extent. And their marketing strategy is based on bangers, I guess. But with that, you get I'd say you might get a bigger audience, but a less engaged community.
Yeah.
Then with these guys like J. Cole, Kendrick, and the way they go about their artistry, they're able to engage less people, but have a core audience that will stick with them. And it brings to mind Little Sims, because she's someone I've kind of watched from afar over the last 5-6 years, and always thought, yeah, she's cold, and she's always had that like cult following, and it isn't until now that she's kind of blown, and she's able to build that audience with her and build her community that she's built. But it kind of shows that you can survive of just such a core and engaged community in the early stages of whether it's building a brand or if you're an artist or whatever it might be. Just trying to go after your niche and sticking to it will pay off in the long run.
Yeah, like
when thinking about marketing is that community side of it.
Yeah, I say this all the time. You probably heard me say it in previous episodes, but yeah, community should be your biggest focus after the art, you know, because they're the ones that will support you, you know. I'm always thinking about that, and we want to try and build there. We're trying to get there. So even if we just have one listener, it's like listening to what that listener likes about us and then honing in on that, you know. So it's like we have to like take pride in that and understand that those are the people that's going to support us because they believe in what it is that we do, and they want to feel as connected to us as possible. And I think that's the main thing. They want to feel like they know you, you know. So when you're giving them like your vulnerabilities and you're not just like dropping every summer, it's like you feel unique to that individual, and I feel like that's how you kind of have to go about that and build like a close knit community. Like you can have someone like Drake could have like hundreds of thousands of supporters, right, or millions, but he might just need like 10,000 of his closest ones to be really successful. Do you know what I mean? And they can really pave the way for you. Do you know what I mean? And again, Nipsey Hussle talks about this a lot, where he had data on all his biggest fan. I remember one time he mentioned how someone came up to him and he was like, "Yeah, I'm your biggest fan." He was like, "Really? Oh, yeah, these are my biggest fans." He's like this guy spent 10,000 on my products in the last 2 years. Do you know what I mean? And he did 10,000 streams, and the amount of data he had in his own community was incredible. And like you can obviously, what I like about Nipsey is that obviously he put out his music for free and you could support, so you could do it however you wanted. But like the data is there and he can connect to those different people. There are people who have 10,000 to spend, but there's others who don't have 10,000 to spend. Do you know what I mean? So how do you determine the biggest fan? But he was able to kind of say, look, you're not up there with these numbers. There are people that do this more than you. So yeah, man, we got to tap into that, and that's our aim. We're trying to do the same thing, build this community, support the community. We're all about here sharing as much knowledge as possible, giving you different outlooks on things that I guess a unique view on things that are happening in modern day life, and relating it back to marketing and social media. So everyone's talking about Kendrick Lamar's album, but they're not giving it to you the way that we're giving it to you. We're taking a slightly different approach, and we're looking at the marketing behind it as opposed to just wanting to explain everything in the artwork and things like that, where that is actually all a part of his marketing strategy. So yeah, man, that's what we're out here to do. So yeah, man, I'm happy to wrap it up there. To be fair, Jam, I feel like we got a lot of information there. I think what I want to do quickly is plug the latest news. I did a quick video earlier about Spotify now testing NFTs. So again, if you are an independent artist, this is something that you might want to look at. Again, if you're able to connect NFTs into your community, it's a great way to get people within your community to support what you do. NFTs is just a digital collectible that you can use as memberships, as early access to content and different things like that. This is a great way for you to, tap into that community, and your community will support you back. So yeah, man. So check that out on the YouTube channel, #Living Agency. Again, Social Living Podcast. This is us, man. I don't know, Jam, you want to add anything?
Nah, it's good to be back, man. Like we're gonna we're gonna try and get back to our regular schedule. Like we said at the start, like things happen in life and we have to adjust and adapt. But yeah, I feel like we're back now, and the weekly episodes will start coming again, and we can start pushing a bit out with what we're doing. So yeah, good to be back, and let's get going again.
Let's get going. Yeah, man. All right, man. This is the Social Living Podcast, and we're out.